table or that music tray thing?
I'm gonna have that, and I'm gonna bring a ruler.
That has a tray to, or lip to catch,
And
or I
there's-
can put up the big one.
And there's also gonna be some.
Well, we'll put it,
Tissues are good. How about both?
yeah, both can work. We can just grab you a box and put it
Yeah.
right on there.
Okay.
I'll put that table over on the side by that nightstand, and then you can use this music tray. And it's got a little catcher for the first.
Okay, so you're gonna put the round table next to her and then she can use the music tray for her notes?
No, I was gonna put the round table back there.
With the tissues on it?
Yeah.
She wants the
The one
tissues
right
close.
next to you. Yeah. I won't be able to put it up there until they're done with worship.
Yeah. Till I start.
For now, I'll put it there. Okay? One of us will.
I have a ruler,
You do.
reading glasses, a mint in my cheek. I'm trying to think of it.
Do you need water? Do you have a water?
I
think you'll
wasn't
be
sure
okay?
if I was going to drink water because I was worried I would choke on it. That's why I have the
fine.
mint.
Hey, I like
That's why I
it.
have the mint.
But the,
Hello. There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome. We can be louder than that, though. How's everybody doing tonight? There we go. There we go. All right. Hey, we are so excited you guys are here tonight. We have an amazing night ahead of us tonight. Renee Davis is going to give her testimony, which I am so excited about. I can't wait to hear it. But we're going to do some amazing worship. We're going to have Renee's testimony. We'll finish it up with some worship. We'll do small groups as always afterwards. But again, we're just super glad you guys are here tonight, especially on a Labor Day weekend. It's just great to see so many people show up. So you guys want to get up on your feet and let's do some worshiping.
I saw Satan fall like lightning. I saw darkness run for cover. But the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. I believe in songs and wonders. I got resurrection power. Still the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. My praise belongs to you forever. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Come together, sons and daughters, bought with blood and washed with water. Sing the praises of the Spirit, Son and Father. Our God will finish what He started. Our God will finish what He started. Oh, this is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Yeah, that's right, everybody. You got a testimony tonight. And you got a testimony too. So I want you tonight to be thinking about how God's working in your life, how God is working in Renee's life when she speaks this testimony tonight. And just here's some truth right here. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. Greater things are still to come. If I'm not dead, then He's not done. Greater things are still to come. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. Greater things are still to come. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. Greater things are still to come. I believe. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Days may be darkest, but your light is brighter. You light our way, God, you light our way. evil is rising. You're rising higher with power to save, with power to save. You keep hope alive. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Death had a stronghold, but your light is stronger. Rise up from the grave. Yeah, yeah. When evil is rising, you're rising higher with power to save, with power to save. You keep hope alive. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Yeah. There's hope in the morning, hope in the evening, hope because you're living. There's hope because you're breathing, hope in the breaking, hope in the sorrow, hope for this moment. There's hope for tomorrow. There's hope in the morning, hope in the evening, hope because you're living. There's hope because you're breathing. There's hope in the breaking, hope in the sorrow. There's hope for this moment. There's hope for tomorrow. You keep hope alive. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Let's sing that again. Woo! You keep hope alive. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Jesus, you are alive.
This one's a new one. You might have heard it before. And God's working miracles. And we're going to sing to Him and sing about that. Let's celebrate that.
This is for the lost and lonely, for the broken and afraid. This is for those who are hurting, hoping help is on the way. In these battles of addiction, fear is chasing after me. Whatever trouble I am facing, I will lift my hands and sing.
I believe in a miracle power, in a wonder-working God. I'm filled with the Holy Spirit, working wonders in my heart. I belong to a loving Father. I'm a friend of Christ the Son. When it feels like
Step 1, we admitted we are powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors and that our lives have become unmanageable. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. Romans 7:18.
Step 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. Philippians 2:13.
Step 3, we made a decision to turn our lives and our wills over to the care of God. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Romans 12:1.
Step 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Lamentations 3:40.
Step 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. James 5:16.
Step 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. James 4:10.
Step 7, we humbly ask him to remove all our shortcomings. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. 1 John 1:9.
Step 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Luke 6:31.
Step 9, we made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except for when to do so would injure ourselves or others. Therefore, if you are offering a gift at the altar, and therefore remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled with them. Then come and offer your gift. Matthew 5:23 and 24.
Okay.
That was awesome.
I think I don't know if I should do this one in the sun. Doesn't it look crazy or what? We continued to take personal inventory, and when we were... Oh, good call. Oh, you're good. Thank you. Step 10. We continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So if you think you are standing firm, be careful you do not fall. 1 Corinthians 10:12. My eyes are closing. I can't do it. I almost made it, but it's like... Does it? Oh, shoot. What about my eyes? Did I look like I was falling asleep? All right, sorry, guys. Yeah.
All right. Step 11, we sought through prayer. Dang it. Man, here we go.
We sought through prayer and... Step 11.
Dwell richly among you. Colossians 3:16. I said it wrong. Let me do that one part again. Got it.
You're doing great.
All right. Step 11. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly. Colossians 3:16.
Step 12. Having had a spiritual experience as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. But watch yourselves, or you may be tempted. Galatians 6:1.
All right, can you guys hear us? Good evening, everybody. We're so excited to see you guys and have you here tonight. My name is Heather Newbill, and I have victory over sexual and love addiction and having new beginnings. I struggle with eating too many sunflower seeds. That is like a legit thing. And just working on, rebuilding relationships, and there's just a lot of things I'm still currently working on, but I still live one day at a time. So.
Hello, hello. My name is Leah, grateful believer in Jesus. I have victory over depression, anxiety, PTSD. I suffer from anxiety and being in front of all of you guys, so let's not make this awkward. Oh, wait, I just did. It's fine. It is Monday night, which is like the best night to be here because we get to see all of our friends and all of our newcomers. So will Pat and Emily and all of our CR leaders please come up front so we can welcome our newcomers. I know it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, but you know what? We just want to love you and welcome you to being here, and whatever you're going through, we just want to be there to walk this journey with you. So will all of our newcomers please come up front and receive your newcomer's coin? I know there's a few of you. Woo! Go! That's awesome. Congratulations. Welcome, welcome.
Awesome. And if for some reason you're too scared to come up front for a high five, raise your hand, we'll come to you. We're just so excited you're here. All right. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure some of you that are new had someone that invited you tonight. So if you were the one that brought a friend or whatever, come up and get your coin too, because you're going to get a coin for inviting your friends to come tonight. And that's something to celebrate too.
Y'all, this is how this ministry grows. We keep inviting people, and then you invite more. I challenge everybody out here to bring 2 friends and come get your wooden nickels as well. And with that being said, it is time to get into tonight's testimony from Sweet, Sweet Renee. So will you guys please put your hands together and give her all your love and support.
Hey, seriously though, newcomers, thank you for coming. Everyone, thank you for telling your friends. I just encourage you to find an opportunity during the week to mention CR, mention VRL if you don't have a home church. This place, there's something powerful going on here, and I want everybody to be a part of it. So keep that up. I love it. That's right. Well, as you all know, tonight's a very special night. We've got a speaker with us tonight that is for me personally, a foundation in my recovery and my walk in ministry. And I'm just really honored to introduce Jarrett to the stage. Yeah. And
oh, man.
Like 8 J's, 2 A's, a couple silent R's.
Oh, come on, man. It doesn't end. Yeah. Love you, brother. Yeah. Amen. Oh, goodness. All right. What a great night, right? Welcome, everybody. Yeah, it's awesome to be here. My name's Jarrett, believer in Jesus. And this is my testimony. You know, I did a lot of bad stuff. Jesus came into my life, and I'm good. I can't believe everybody said this is so tough. I mean, come on. This is, no, geez, get real, right? I mean, if life was that easy, give me a break. I tell you what, so that's not what it is. Life is quite complex, I would say. And the title of my testimony is My Life's Victory Through His Grace. And one of the things I want to point out right away is that we are complex. And God wrote us a book that can help us out with our complexities. And if it was a simple little book, then my testimony perhaps would have been okay. But that's just a headline. So now we get into the story. So my name is Jarrett, a believer in Jesus Christ, recovering from sex addiction, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, family of origin issues, obsessive compulsive tendencies, and pretty much these other things that are on that list. So you're getting somebody that's been through it all, and it's awesome to be here. And it's Jarrett with one R and two T's for those of you that don't know me. So my prayer tonight is that my story either draws you closer to Jesus, or more importantly, you feel moved to step into a relationship with Him. And I know that we're sharing this online as well, and so this is for all of you also. So I got to admit though, man, before recovery, I might have been a bit judgmental. It was something I struggled with. You know, it was like, I got my stuff together. What's wrong with those people? You know, they got issues. I got my act together. I'm good. I'm okay. But fortunately, His Word says in John 8:7, Jesus stood up and said to them, "Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone." And that one always rings to me, and I wanted to bring a visual for that in my bag of tricks. And oh my gosh, whoever doesn't have sin in this room, and if they got a good arm, they're going to be taking me out. But this is the visual. All right, don't forget that verse. Second verse is about being judgmental. Matthew 7:3 says, "Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log in your eye?" And Pastor Dan did this a while back, but it always cracks me up when somebody comes out and said, "Dude, you got to quit looking at those women like you are. Man, you are really gambling too much. You got some serious problems. What is wrong with you?" Dang, this thing's heavy. What's wrong with you? Crying out loud. You know, the funny thing is could you imagine if you had two judgmental people going at it together, log to log? That's our world, right? Do we not see that all the time? It's like, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. Dude, get that out. Crying out loud, reminder. Yeah, crazy. So here we are, and in Romans 14:4, the Lord is able to make me stand. So here I stand tonight in front of you to share my testimony. And there's a lot here, but I got 25 minutes. So I'm going to start out just with a little bit of background, because I talk about family of origin issues, and a lot of you are going to, what is that? What does that mean? So I'm going to start real quick with my mom. So my mom, born in the early 40s, and was raised in a broken family. Her parents got divorced at a very early age. And so my mom and her big sister kind of raised themselves. They just latchkey kids is what we called them. So she got married at an early age. 16 is what she says, Mom, if you're watching. I never figured out the dates. But she had my older brother, at 17. But it gives you an idea, kind of laying the groundwork of what's going on. She had my sister in 1963, and then along comes me in 1966. Springfield, Oregon. Podunk Town, here we are. Our crazy, crazy Clark family. But what Jesus says, Psalms 139:16, you saw me, well, this is what David said, David said, you saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day passed. God knew your story before you were born. And He knew my story before I was born. He has put the breath of life in me for this moment to share. And it goes for each and every one of you that is listening here tonight or is watching online. So, all right, Jarrett, where did the name come from? And what's the big deal with the 1 R and 2 T's, right? So my mom, was like TV, and there was a show called The Big Valley. So those of you who are of age or you like old stuff, there's a show called The Big Valley, and there was a guy that she said was super handsome, and his name was Jared with a D. She thought it was Jarrett with a couple T's, 1 R and 2 T's. Nobody back in the 70s when I was growing up ever heard of a Jarrett. So I lived my early years saying, what's your name? Jack, Gerard, Jerome, Jared, what is it? It's Jarrett with 1 R and 2 T's. That's where it came from. You got the backstory. Yeah. So my life and my world was crazy. Right out of the gate, it was crazy world. Just to give you some perspective on this, so I'm the youngest. I just talked to my sister 2 days ago, and I wanted to verify some of these stories. But my brother used to babysit my sister and I when he was 7. And I was 1, and she was 3 or 4. So my brother used to get scared. Where's Mom and Dad? It's dark there, coming home. Podunk, Springfield. Well, he learned how to call 911. So he would call the police, and the police would show up, and I don't know all the outside aspects to it, but apparently back then they didn't care if the parents were down the road partying. You got to suck it up, boy. Come on now. So this happened multiple times, and finally they started thinking he's crying wolf. And so he got creative, and he took a stone and he threw, because he called the police and he said, somebody's trying to get us. They're going to get us. So he took a stone, threw it through the window so he'd have proof that somebody's trying to get us. So the police come during this time and they're just like, okay, man, this is serious business. We actually have assault going on. So the police show up and my brother's at the door and he's just like, yeah, they're getting us, they're getting us. And the officer looks at my brother and he says, Jay, you threw that rock from the inside of the house to the outside. That's my family. But you know what? Victory. Jesus kept the breath of life in me and in my family. So my earliest memories were violence in the home. We had a violent home. My dad was violent towards my mother. My dad was violent towards my brother and my sister. And my brother took out that violence on us little kids. And this is hard. And I am afraid of the dark to this day because of what went on. So my dad was abusive physically and in other ways. And he had to pay for that later on in one of his later marriages. He was arrested for violence towards children in other ways. And we don't remember a lot from the early stuff, but it was hard. And the beautiful thing about working through these hard things is it helps us understand the foundation that we had, right? So we understand where some of our hurts, habits, and hang-ups come out of. So thank Jesus, my mom got out of the abusive relationship, and one of the last memories I had was my dad pinning her up against the wall, but she had the strength to get out, and she took care of us. It wasn't long, though, before she had to remarry. You know, early 70s, 3 kids, working at Shapes of Clay, making 55 cents an hour, whatever it was back then. But for you that are, a little bit older than me, it was not much. But there's a verse in the Bible that says in Psalm 23:4, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me." Peace in my soul. Jesus kept the breath of life in me. Victory. So then, getting into 5 to 10 years old, it was around 6, I started asking Mom about this Jesus guy. Mama, Jesus this, Jesus that. Jesus is everything. He loves you. He loves us. He's taking care of us. And I'm like, man, this Jesus dude, who is this guy, Mom? He's everywhere, Jared. You mean he's in the wood? He's under the table. Yeah. Whatever. But anyways, I was drawn to it. I was like, who is this Jesus? And Mom started taking us to church. I kind of listened, maybe not. I didn't listen so much. But what I do want to share here is Romans 8:28. It says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose." Right? All of your mess, all of your crazy that's going on in your world or went on in your world is for His good. And there's a purpose behind it. That's victory. So we moved to Kent in the early 70s, my hometown. Long hair, I'm working on it. Bell-bottom jeans, rock and roll, sissy bars on the bike, and a latchkey kid running the town and owning it. Man, it was free. I loved it. Get home for dinner, with the cowbell, that was about it. You'd be okay. But here's the crazy part, guys. And you know what? You can laugh at this. You can be sad about this. You can be emotional about this. I'm going to share about my drug. This is about 8 years old. And this is kind of a funny story, but it's about my drug. So most of us define a drug as something that makes us feel better. Well, here it is. I'm bringing it out to the world. This was it. I was climbing a pole at recess one day, little 8-year-old kid, and it got towards the top, and then all of a sudden the most euphoric sensation flowed through my body, and I escaped from the world and the craziness of it in that moment. It was bliss. I was instantly addicted. And for those of you that aren't picking up on it, it starts with an O and it ends with an M. I was addicted. I was climbing everything. Somebody said, Jarrett, man, climb that rope. Jarrett can climb like a mother. Have you seen that guy? He's climbing everything. And I did. And the thing was, is I started attaching that as my drug to separate from my pain. If I hurt, I went to the drug. If I felt sad, I climbed something. I was addicted. The wiring set in place as a little kid. And it was locked in. And I was addicted. I didn't even know what it was, but I was addicted. I also spent way too much time with my 7-year-old older brother. You remember Jay throwing the rock through the window. It just doesn't work, guys. And if you're doing it with your kids, oh, Lord have mercy. Anyways, so he was 16 or 17. He loved cars. And one time he took me up in the mountains and we're on a logging road. And he said, hey, Jarrett, drive the car. Okay, yeah, I'm in. So I sit in the seat. I get on the front of the seat and driving the car, not really doing anything, just rolling. About 2 weeks later, my brother comes running over to the house through the woods. And he says, come with me. He says, hey, check out this new Pinto I got. Hey, you got to drive it down to the old lady's house, down on the paper route. And I was like, what are you talking about? You drive it. Nope, you're going to drive it. I'm following you in that car. And I was like, whoa, this is just nuts, Jay. This is what I'm thinking in my mind now, but back then I was just terrified. And he kind of threatened me, put me in the car. I climbed in that Pinto. Somehow or another, I figured out how to get in to drive. And here I am sitting on the front of the seat, looking below the steering wheel and the dashboard, and, cruising along, thinking, hey, I got this. Wow, you're driving. You're driving on real roads. Yeah, right on. Look at this. I make it in around a turn. I start going down a hill, and I'm coming up on another turn, and I got to turn right. There's like 5 cars lined up there. I'm gaining speed, and I'm hitting the brakes, and that old Pinto didn't want to stop. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? So I start turning, and I hit the brakes even harder. Boom! Went right to the very back of the seat. Couldn't reach anything. It was over. I hit this lady, knocked her over the side of the road. I panicked, floored that little Pinto, put it in forward, reverse forward. She went boom, deeper and deeper over the edge. And I was terrified. I was so scared. That's my world. And the reason why I'm telling some of these stories is because my world was crazy. I ran all the way home, terrified. Police came later and knocking on the door. Is there a Jarrett that lives here? Yeah, we haven't seen him. Like it's no big deal, I'm hiding under the bed, terrified. So I tell you what, we were going to church. It wasn't very long after that. Pastor was doing a little bit of hellfire preaching at the pulpit. You accept Jesus, well, you might be going to hell. And I was like, dude, I'm all in. Get me in on that Jesus stuff. I'm in. I want to be saved. And I tell you what, fear or not, it didn't matter. I wanted Jesus in my life. That's what I wanted. And I accepted what it says in the Bible. In Romans 10:9 it says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That's permanent. That's not taken away. But my story gets messy. But John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. I can't wait. I can't wait. My early teens, man, fame to failure. I don't know if it was running from that crash or whatever, but I started running track. I became a national champion at an early age. Isn't that crazy? Got all this attention, life's good. My stepdad starts paying attention to me, and I'm just like, yeah, man, kind of a normal family dynamic here. It's pretty good. And then all of a sudden it was not. Sitting at the dinner table one night, brother's not eating his peas or beans or something green, and my stepdad says, eat your peas. My brother, he's a broke kid, man. He was abused probably worse than any of us, significantly. He's probably around 17 this time. So he jumps up, and I remember this vividly. He walks behind me, walks behind my mom. My dad's on this side of the table. My brother's left-handed, and he swings from far back as he can. Wham! Hits my dad so hard his glasses go flying across. And then it's all go. They're fighting all over the living room. They're fighting out in the backyard. They're fighting everywhere. Mom, sister are screaming and yelling. And the little kid, Jarrett, who just crashed a car not too long ago, is just going, what's up? I need to climb a tree. I still had my drug, and I still escaped with it. And believe me, it was what I felt like was the only thing that would keep me alive. But you know what? Mom kept focused on Jesus. Mom kept praying, and he kept the breath of life in me. Victory. Late teens, 3 high school moves, pot, alcohol, sex, self-medication, way too much of all the above. But what's really weird is a lot of people didn't know. I hid everything. My friends and some of them knew, but I hid it well. But then young life. And those of you that don't know Young Life and you have teens, what a wonderful ministry. God breathed life into me during that time. I went to a camp called Malibu, and I was just rolling with Jesus, loving life, and all was good. I was sober, I was clean, still struggled with my sex addiction, but I was not drinking. That was a blessing, because about 2 weeks later, after a high school dance, I was driving home in the middle of the night. We lived out in the country in western Washington, no houses around, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, out of the dark, somebody jumps out in front of me and crashes through my windshield. I remember their head vividly and what it looked like as they popped through the windshield and then popped off the side of my car. But thanks Jesus, I was sober. I stopped. There was nothing I could do. I went home, called the police, was arrested for a felony hit and run. But thankfully, Mom kept praying, and I got through that. College was next. 36 hours of partying a week. 36 hours. It was simple. Friday night till Sunday morning. Party every week. Every week. I was an addict, but I kept it together, whatever. Sunday through Friday night. Victory. Early 20s, I graduated college with an engineering degree. And really from 19 until about 37, I truly was covered in prayer, and Jesus kept the breath of life in me. My mom kept praying. 23 years old. My mom's crying. I'm at the house or whatever, and I was like, hey, Mom, what's going on? And she goes, I got something I got to tell you. Your brother and sister's dad is not your dad. You know, I'm a vulnerable kid. I'm 23. I'm kind of messed up. And I'm like, now hold on. So that guy's not my dad. Well, who's my dad? And she said and told me the story that they were partner swapping and doing their thing. You know, they just weren't around. And anyways, so found out this other guy was my dad. That was shocking, even at the age of 23, right? Our world can get shocked, and pain and hurt can happen. And the escape went over the roof, but Mom kept praying. All you mothers out there and dads, but moms, keep praying. Victory. 26 to 30, I did good in business, got married, still struggled with sex and alcohol. The internet came in. You all know what that means for people that struggle with sex. Man, I was addicted with all of it all the time. Marriage didn't fix it. My wife was a wonderful person, but I was broke and I was barely hanging on by threads. But Mom kept praying. Jesus kept providing the air in my lungs. Victory. 31 to 35, I had a huge void. I could not satisfy it. I went to darker and darker places. And I don't want to share those places, but it kept getting darker and it was not good. But Jesus came to the door on Halloween 1999. And you're just thinking, what? And no, Jesus brought the light in. He brought an angel to my door. She was about this tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed. I remember it vividly. That's when my life started turning. And he started bringing light into the darkness of my world. So I slowed down the drinking. I can't stop some of the sex addiction stuff. The battle between light and darkness was dramatic. And all of you that struggle know what I'm talking about. The darkness and the light, the dark and the light, and the battle that goes on in our life. I started reading the Bible. I met a business partner. Her name was Gail Hogue. She shared a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. What a wonderful book. Started going to church. I met Tom Helm. Started Celebrate Recovery in 2004. Praise Jesus. Victory. I found out that I was not alone as one of these sex addict guys. Now, I didn't find anybody else climb trees and pull stuff like that. But anyways, I don't want to stray too far here. Adam's starting to signal. But I did. It was a hard time. I broke my wife's heart by sharing what I had been going through in Victory, but we survived and we thrived. She got involved in Celebrate Recovery. This is over on the coast. We started our own CR program, and everything was going wonderful. We were growing our family. We fostered 14 kids. We adopted 3 more. Now we got this huge tribe, loving our children, loving life. But we decided to move to Spokane. Whatever, we moved over here, and I thought I had it. I thought I was good and everything was taken care of. And I didn't plug back in to Celebrate Recovery. Life got complex. We started having struggles at home. I was unplugged. I thought I had it. I still had some accountability calls I was making, thinking I had it. Life got more and more difficult. I did not plug back in. I started drinking. I started hiding cans. I started to struggle with sex addiction again.